Australian economy marks worst performance since global financial crisis. The Australian economy is officially in the doldrums, with the latest data revealing its worst quarterly performance since the global financial crisis. Treasurer Scott Morrison seized upon the national accounts figures, released today, to demand support for the government's economic reforms, such as the long-term cuts to corporate taxes it proposed in the federal budget. "We want to pass that through the parliament, and we need the consensus of a parliament that is going to work in the national interest to drive jobs and growth," Mr. Morrison told reporters in Canberra. "The reason you put out a 10-year trajectory on tax like the UK has, or New Zealand has, or indeed the United States wishes to, is to signal to investors what the future will be for their investments. That is why I say to the parliament, in the national interest, this is important for people's jobs." The national accounts showed economic growth declined 0.5% in the September quarter, dragging the annual growth rate down to 1.8%, explaining the subdued employment growth of recent months. Annual growth in the June quarter was previously reported at 3.3% before revisions. It was the first contraction in growth since March 2011, and only the fourth quarter in the past 25 years that the economy has contracted, leading some to question the success of the coalition's jobs and growth strategy. But Mr. Morrison slammed the cynical politics of business bashing and defended the government's economic record. "We have been successful in passing $21 billion in measures that have improved the budget since the last election," Mr. Morrison said, vowing to work with members of the crossbench to secure pragmatic wins. "If I had taken a poll 4 months ago, I don't think people would have thought that would have been achieved. Today's data suggests that we have got to take that up a notch." Earlier, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull insisted his government was doing all it could to promote growth in the face of big global headwinds. "We have sluggish growth across the world at the moment, and that is one of the reasons why everything we do, every element of our policy, has to promote economic growth," he told reporters in Sydney. The last time the economy contracted, in 2011, it was the result of adverse weather events domestically and earthquakes in neighboring New Zealand and Japan, Australia's second-largest trading partner. At this stage, economists doubt the economy will remain so weak in the December quarter as to fall into recession, defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, pointing to indicators like retail spending, which has picked up in recent months. The Reserve Bank left the cash rate unchanged at a record low 1.5% at its final board meeting of the year on Tuesday. Central Bank Governor Philip Lowe anticipated some slowing in economic growth by year-end before it picks up again, pointing to a future pickup in exports as completed resource projects come online. Treasury will use the national accounts to form its forecasts for the mid-year budget review, which Mr. Morrison will hand down on December 19. With Op.